So he said they're challenging, so maybe they are. Do you want to make them? But I didn't know if they were from Marion.
So it makes sense if they're having Palisades, because that's in between.
But that's just good. Palisades, a couple of birds.
That's on the way for it. Which is on the way for
Buzzer? It would be a deep I don't know either. I'm just happy somebody yeah. I don't want it to be
I'm only saying it because, like, technically speaking, it is their spotlight. As the only reason to go in there.
Well, I get it.
It's like that.
She's got it.
Yeah.
There are rules showing up. Which, again, I'm not saying that's brilliant. The point is, I don't want you to, one day just get smiled. Oh,
Don't say it's going to be long.
No. It seems odd that we have the table.
We are going to be long. We have a very long.
we can follow you down.
I was going to say, what's on the agenda that you need to
I thought that would be courteous.
Yeah, I did too.
Because what if
Because they have a meeting tonight.
then we won't hear
Not training
I'm not supposed to be here.
That's like me when I don't want to go home.
And I don't have access to get in there without you anyway. So.
Yeah.
And if it helps them to remove that stuff, if they thought that that was already going to be gone by April 1st, then I wanted to say that I don't want it. That's all.
What trending in next year?
No.
Great, nice chart.
We got a new reporting system. Get back to work. There's digits that need to be removed. I wouldn't know that if
Yeah, that sounds quite. I don't want to speak. Just got to transpose or something. This is the fire department, not this one.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome visitors to the second meeting of the Mount Vernon City Council for the month of April. And after officially calling this meeting in order, I just want to mention that Councilman Mark had reasons not going to be here tonight, but we'll move on. The next item on the agenda is approving the agenda, and I think I need the three items to bring up here. First of all, item 2, E1. There's been no action on that district setting up for the fire vote and so on. So we're going to leave that tabled. So we're going to skip that item on E1, and as a result, G1, of course. The second thing is, there's been no, I think we're going to hold up on J7. That's a pay application for Nelson Electric. There's an addition coming for that, so we're going to hold off on that. So that is an exception of this agenda. And I think the last thing, to accommodate our volunteers in the fire department, K5. We're going to do that after we get through the communications consent agenda part. So we'll move that up. Yeah. Any other recommendations?
With
Yes,
those,
the fire department owes it. Yeah.
with those notes, I will move approval of the agenda.
So thank you, Scott and Paul. Let's move in second to approve the agenda with those three changes. We're ready to vote on that?
Your speak microphone is not on.
If we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the communication section of the agenda. If you wish to address the City Council on subjects pertaining to today's meeting agenda, please wait until that item, until we get to that point in the agenda. And if you wish to address the City Council on an item not on the agenda, please approach the microphone, give your name and address for the public record before discussing your item, and you've got 5 minutes to address the council. Anybody here to address the council unscheduled? Hearing none. We'll move on to oath of office. which is the reason why it brings a large group of people here tonight. Welcome everybody, including the Cornell College softball team. And a double hitter wins yesterday.
Yep. Just a couple quick words. So we've been going through the hiring process for a while, and we've come down to these two candidates, Morgan and Monet. They've stood out so much since the beginning. Monet's been with us as a reserve for the past year, and Morgan's going through criminal justice at Kirkwood right now. Her dad is he was a former police officer with us, still part-time, but both show great fire and ready to get after it. They start the academy this summer. Morgan will be going first, and Monet will be going in August. So, but we're going to jump into some training right away. So, super excited to get them going, and we'll do this oath of office.
Good. You want to say anywhere in particular, Nathan? Or right in front here? Okay. Both of you want to? And we're going to do these consecutively here, or do them both together here. And you know about this part, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you. I've had to explain that in the past, so. Okay, please raise your right hand. I, state your name.
I, Monet Roelle. I, Morgan Kelley.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Iowa.
And the Constitution of the State of Iowa.
And the Constitution of the State of Iowa.
And I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability.
And that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability.
And that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability.
Discharge all the duties of the office of police officer.
Discharge all the duties of the office of police officer.
In the cities of Mount Vernon and Lisbon.
In the cities of Mount Vernon and Lisbon.
Discharge all of the duties of the office of police officer in the cities of Mount Vernon and Lisbon.
As now and hereafter required by law.
As now and hereafter required by law.
And I will witness this the 20th day of April 2026 in the city of Mount Vernon with my signature, and I will get that turned in. And thank you very much. And
Hold on. What you want to finish it?
Morgan.
As now and hereafter required by law.
There you go.
Now we'll get Thank you, and thank you all for coming, and I think we'll move on to item D, consent agenda. We've got 4 items on the consent agenda. Anything we need to do?
Move approval of the consent agenda as submitted.
Thank you, Paul. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. If you're ready to vote on it, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're now going to K5, reports to be received from the Mount Vernon Fire Department annual report. Chief Goodluck, the floor is yours.
So I don't really have anything to add other than some numbers here real quick, but just more want to give an opportunity for questions. As you can see, the EMS and fire and law enforcement services are alive and well in the city of Mount Vernon. So Chris can attest, I'm sure, going around to different communities. I have a hard time explaining this to other volunteer fire chiefs of how in Mount Vernon with our volunteers and membership. So a lot of that has to do with leadership and the members we have, and a lot of it has to do with funding. So we're well-funded, well-equipped. The training center is going to be huge for us going down the road. And we've just got a good thing going, and we're trying to keep building on that as much as we can. So part of that is, too, I can let Meredith speak a little bit to the point of the Volunteer Fire Association we built up to with our fundraising monies, and they can speak a little bit more. Meredith can speak a little bit more to that too. So, a couple things I did not put in there. Membership right now are sitting at 37, so that's pretty adequately staffed for us. We were up to 45 a few years ago, and that was a lot to manage for us, and just kind of keeping tabs on training and certifications, and also there was a little bit of gap there with purchasing and outfitting firefighters, about 10 grand head to toe. So there's a lot of money there involved with that. But right now, like I said, we're sitting at 37. We just put 6 new recruits on here a couple months ago. They've been unintended trial by fire. We've had them out of the training facility, running reps through there. It's been very, very successful with them. So they've got a really good grasp on real life things now. They're getting into the not so fun bookwork side of it, and working through their Fire 1 certification. Beyond that, we've got 2 cadets right now that have been on. They'll be graduating here this spring, and looking to bolster that again through the high school and bringing on hopefully a couple more. 2 to 3 is pretty manageable for us, and it's tough for high school students and the extracurriculars that they have, balancing that with schooling and trying to get them to be an asset to us too is a big lift, but we've been pretty successful with it with the members we've got that have stuck it out. So we've also got 2 gals that run on our quasi division of EMS. They just strictly do EMS for us, so they help out a ton with our supplies, apparatus and equipment checks on the EMS side of things too. So that's been a huge help for us too. We just went through evaluation with the state and passed all that year with us. So that takes a lot off of our plate to get that completed. So with that, numbers wise that I did include in there after the fact, I thought about it. I think we were sitting at 258 this year, or I'm sorry, 358 for calls. We were right at 350. Last year we were at 310. So we had an increase of about 40 calls for the year, which is pretty typical. It's kind of cyclical. We've been kind of holding at that line. However, we do auto-aid with Lisbon, so between auto-aid with Lisbon and then responses that the ambulance go on, we also get paid for, like a routine transfer at care facilities. Those kind of things don't require like a first responder. So with all of those lumped in, we're getting paged about anywhere from 560 to 580 times a year. So our pagers are going off all the time. We're trying to clean a little bit of that up with the sheriff's department and some of their emergency medical dispatching and whatnot. But I will say some of our members are definitely getting a little bit of pager fatigue from that thing beeping all the time, and I'm sure our spouses are too. So, but with that, I just hit a little bit on the training facility. That is up and running. We've had great success with that. I can't say enough how blessed we are to have that in this city, especially for a city our size. And it's a force multiplier for us with having the ability to go out there and train and have real life scenarios. And not only that, but just having an area to go out and spread out and cut a car up, and we're not doing it in our back parking lot. And, it's 10 o'clock at night in our neighborhood. Try to be good neighbors too. So from that standpoint, that's been huge with us. We're still kind of at that crawl, walk, run phase. We're still kind of crawling with it, with kind of putting feelers out to other departments, and we've had a few other departments in and done a little bit of training with this. So we're still tweaking that a little bit. I think the plan is probably late spring, early summer, we're going to try to look at kind of having like an open house out there so everybody can kind of come out and see it and walk through it or whatever they, get the feel of it and see what we've done with it. So we are probably have one more phase to it here. We've earmarked pancake funds for this year and 27 to go towards finishing the upfitting of it. So we're looking at probably just one more level on our burn side, so the side that we burn in, and then the side that's already 2 stories, we're probably going to add one more box on the back with we'll call it a roof prop on it, so we can simulate if we have to go up on a roof and cut a hole, let gases and everything out. We'll have that prop built on top of that. So a little bit more work to do, but pancake breakfast wise, we had just over 1,500 people through the doors, which was an absolute awesome day for as cruddy as it was. I didn't have high hopes that morning when it was 40 degrees out and dreary, and so it was good. And that's usually, I think that was about 4 people over what we did last year, which was record, so we'd like to kind of stay in that realm so we don't have long waits and we get people in and out and it's not taxing us too much. So, but otherwise with that, I'll open up if you have any questions for me. I let Meredith talk about the Volunteer Firefighter Association as well too, and he's got a lot of good things to bring to the table with that. So.
I do not know where the training facility is located.
So it's just off Bryan Road, just past, it's just to the west of the city shops out there. So it's just right along parallel to the tracks. If you go out to the mulch pile out there, you can kind of see it tucked back in there. There's two Conex box facilities, I'll call them, and then shop right in the middle of that. So yeah, feel free to drive out and check it out or grab one of us if you want to. Off night walkthrough, we can take you through and show you everything. So.
I would open that up to the council. You can check out both facilities. The public works facility is 99%, minus the sewer. And then
Sewer is more than 1%.
Surveyor was out there
we're working
today.
on that part. And then right down the lane to the fire department. It's just been an awesome, but 9-acre purchase. It's made 10 years ago. So check out both.
Yeah.
Preferably not on a rainy evening. Drive between where the fire department at and the public works is still kind of a mud trail.
But if you're looking for an adventure, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many months are you from the next truck being here? We're in process.
I'd have to look, so I think we're just right around 3 years out still. So yeah, I just saw Phoenix or Tempe today picked up 11 trucks, so that's why I think the queue is still.
They're hoarding.
And there's several lawsuits going on now with some manufacturers of price gouging and delaying all of this. I know they've been on the hill a little bit in DC discussing it. Quite frustrating. So, but it's when you slap the fire department on anything, you're kind of at the whim of a lot of red tape comes with it. So.
I think the original way was
4. I think so. I think we're just a little over a year out. I think we were in November, I believe, 2025. I will put one more shameless plug in here. I know there's some legislation going through the state right now doesn't so much affect the city side, but on our with Linn County Fire District 1, who we contract with for fire service, or contracts with us for fire service, which basically is our rural fire district outside of city proper. It's about 72 square miles. There's some legislation going on right now that they're looking at increasing the ability for those rural areas to bump up their tax millage. It's been set at 60.75 cents per $1,000 of taxable valuation, I think, since like the early 70s. And as you can see, the first engine we bought when I took over this fire chief thing was like $460,000. That was in 2012. If we had to replace that today, it would be probably north of $1.2 million. So prices have increased. Like everything, cost of our gear, equipment has all gone up, and the tax millage in those rural areas has stayed the same. So there's starting to see the gap there in some of those areas that are strictly just rural funded. So hopefully there's a little bit of relief there. This is, I think it's in the Ways and Means right now, but they're looking at bumping that up to, I believe, 70 cents and then 80 cents, and then there's some stipulations there with their ability to bond or do a tax levy up to 90 cents. So anyway, shameless plug there. If you guys support in Des Moines, we sure hopefully that gets pushed through. So.
Good luck with your conversations with West Bertram too.
Yeah. Yep.
And decision in sight.
I don't think so. I think that a lot of discussion going on a viable solution there for them. So, yeah. Any other questions?
No questions, just thanks to you and your team
Yeah.
and all the volunteers.
We appreciate it. That's what I try to hit home to our members after the pancake breakfast, and looking at our apparatus equipment. Like we've got a lot of support in this community. Make sure you thank people, and have a lot of pride and ownership, and I think we've got that with our members. So much appreciated, so thank you.
Well done.
Let Meredith talk about the association.
So my name is Meredith. I'm the president of the Mount Vernon Volunteer Firefighters Association, which is kind of a mouthful, but that's the name we came up with. We are basically the nonprofit division of the fire department. So we have the fire department, kind of proper city department, which is headed up by a chief and our assistant chiefs. And then we have a separate 501c3. And in the last 2 years, I've kind of worked on really solidifying our 501c3 status, and we've done some governance changes. I'm basically looking at websites like Charity Navigator. What is a good, reputable nonprofit? And we're trying to structure ours to be like that. Now, we're too small to even rank on Charity Navigator, but we're trying to adopt some of the best practices to make sure that we can withstand a very high level of scrutiny. But also, you know, this opens us up for larger grants and kind of bigger fundraising. We are very intentional about not asking our community for money more than once a year, and in exchange for pancakes and sausage and coffee. So we don't want to keep asking our business owners or keep asking our residents. So having a solid 501c3, it's actually saved us quite a bit of money already on the training center. Kroll Concrete, sizable donation of concrete at way below market rate. So that's been great. That's already paying for itself. We're also going to be the type of nonprofit that is not just going to sit on money. So we made a lot of money on our pancake breakfast. I believe we netted about $29,000. $20,000 of that was right away committed back to the training center. The cool thing is that before we had the training center as kind of our guiding star, there was always this division of, well, we should sit on our money for a rainy day, or we should spend it and buy another Ranger or something. And there's always kind of this tension, but now I've seen the whole group kind of come together and realizing the value that this training center gives us. I really think that our new recruits are probably 2 to 5 years of experience by the time they start, just from the reps they're getting, because fortunately we're not getting a lot of fires, but unfortunately you're not developing the type of on-the-job training that we used to. So everyone sees the value of that. The more senior guys enjoy it because it's a challenging building. You can still get lost in it even if you've been on 20 years. So that's kind of a testament to how flexible that building is. And when I say lost, you're never more than 20 feet from a door with an instructor kind of hovering over your shoulder. But it is a challenging building, and it allows us to kind of keep pushing our skills. So we very quickly got the building going and operational, in part because I wanted our members to see the value early on. So it's not just this thing that we keep spending money on. But I think we have enough buy-in now where we can kind of continue expanding it. Like Nate says, we're kind of planning ahead to have that ladder truck here, and our, you know, kind of those first 5-10 minutes of a fire scene are very indicative of how the rest of that fire goes. So with this building, we can drill setting up the tower, deploying hose, making quick attacks, searches. We can drill all of these things in pretty realistic conditions. So very excited about that. So that's kind of our big project going forward. Like I said, 501c3 status is in good shape now. We can go for bigger grants, bigger fundraising efforts outside of our own community. But yeah, I can talk governance all day long. I know too.
Thank you.
Further questions from Renee?
I was just going to ask, one of you answer the question as it relates to that training facility on how many departments, what would be the percent roughly of departments in the state of Iowa that have something similar?
Yeah. So I would say the next closest community that would be our size and scope would probably be a little bit bigger than ours. North Liberty has something very similar, but the city of Riverside has a facility built like this in a little bit smaller scope. So they're beyond that. I'm hearing a lot now from other departments of like, hey, how'd you do this? Like, we're going to start small, because it is very scalable with the Connex box configuration that we use. And a little bit more history. We sent 2 of our members out to Indianapolis to it's called Fire Department Training Network, and it's ran by mainly Indianapolis firefighters, but they have pretty much one of the premier training facilities that's built to a similar size and scope of what we did. And put them through their training, train the trainer classes and how they built their boxes and everything. So we kind of took that, scaled it back to our, molded it to what we would envision we need, or something similar to our building types in town, and built it off that. So I would say there's a very small amount of departments that have something like this, and probably this side of the state, we're probably maybe one of probably 6, I think, for a department our size, and that might even be a stretch a little bit. So very fortunate to have this, and like I said, Mary hit on too. It's very relatable to what we create conditions that are very similar to what we would be showing up to at 2 in the morning on somebody's worst day of their lives. So yeah.
Thanks for your leadership and your vision to come up with something like this. Over the years.
It was. I will say, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag to some hefty donors. Mary had kind of referenced the concrete company, but it really got propelled with a couple large donations to the 501c3. That it was kind of always out there as a kind of a hope, kind of a want, and then with the city acquiring that land and a couple of these big donations, that really kick-started it. With those donors, as well as the fire district chipped in $50,000 right away too, and that put us off to the races with it. So yeah, something that was looking like maybe in the next 10 years a feasibility to we can do this right now was it's still slowly sinking into everybody too that we've got this. So yeah.
Conservatively, I would also say, like we probably have, I'm not exaggerating, $800,000 of goodwill and like sweat equity in that building, because we're probably at about 200,000 for this building right now, and Marion has a similar building for 1.2 million.
That's total. I would say it's probably about $500,000 for what they built.
Okay. Yeah, there's individuals that are just like it's their job. They're out there modifying the building, creating new layouts, putting in doors, fixing damage. There's just an incredible amount of sweat equity in that building.
Yeah.
So you mentioned other fire departments being able to come and use it, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So if they do, is that just, yeah, sure, come on over, or do you charge a fee for other departments?
So there is some consumables, so we like some of the, we use theatrical smoke machines in our side that we don't burn in, so that's a cost associated with it, as well as we do burn. We have to buy straw bales, so it's kind of negligible. But I think we talked to Chris a little bit about how to structure that. One thing we're talking about currently is we're looking sometime in the fall to kind of host like a small scale fire school. So just kind of open it up to mutual aid departments and county departments that want to send some people through that need to get some reps. And I think we can kind of offset with that, some of that with student fees and whatnot, which $50 a student would pay for consumables and everything. So yeah, right now it's kind of, we're still, like I said, we're still in that new phase of trying to work through what it's going to look like on an annual basis for that. So I know we kind of restructured a little bit of our budget this next year to kind of maybe with it being so new, we're still trying to kind of forecast what it's going to look like on a yearly
Well, and
basis.
maybe right now, while it's new, hurry and make those choices so that you're not like, oh yeah, come on over, and then within a year, you're like, oh wait, now there's a charge, and people are like, well, you let them use it for free.
Yeah.
And definitely for things that cost, like the smoke and things like that, those are definite costs that go into anyone using it.
Yeah.
So that totally makes sense to say, well, to use this, you've got to pay for these because, that's just thought out cost. So I would just recommend to quickly make those choices so that you're not backpedaling and having to explain why, well, yeah, before we didn't charge you, but now we do charge you.
Yeah, and I know we've discussed it a little bit at our level and with some of the neighboring fire chiefs, and I think they were all, for what we're looking at for offsetting the price, it's minimal enough that it wouldn't be a burden on most departments. Try to make it, we don't want to make it equitable to everybody and try to keep small town We were talking down to it the other day, you know, they don't have a huge operating budget, so, but at the same token, we want them to be, you know, trained and equipped, you know, trained to their best ability too, if they're coming to help us, so yeah, we're definitely looking down that path in the future for sure, so, thank you for that.
Any questions or comments for Chief Goodlove?
Thanks for letting us go early, I didn't know we had that kind of bowl.
It's the pancakes.
You're a
You do
big
this
deal.
in 2 months and you're at the end of the
That
agenda.
doesn't mean you walk, you're going to be able to go.
Thank Councilman Engel for that, so.
Great job, thank you.
And I will try hard on Monday, May 4th, at 6:30. Yeah, so we can go from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. I think the next item is, I'd like to officially open the public hearing for the consideration of the City of Mount Vernon fiscal year 2026-2027 proposed annual budget, item E2. Would you like to start us off there? Or is there anybody here that wants to speak to that? Questions about that?
It's a lot quieter than it was when we had the oath of office.
I almost got excited.
A 30-slide budget presentation will do that to you.
Now, the budget presentation will be on the city's website for people to be able to peruse, and they can kind of see historical data that we inserted actually three new slides this year, just to kind of show a graph that this is what it's looked at. Those graphs, I will tell you, always look skewed a little bit because of COVID. You can see one major dip of COVID and then a year of kind of recovery from COVID where we did very little. One of the highlights that I always try to point out, I did move the effect of what the property tax rate would be with the rollback. Move that to a $300,000 home, probably closer to the average in Mount Vernon. And if you just factored the city property tax levy rate from this year to last year, we would actually be increasing $117 from last year. But again, that doesn't include county and it doesn't include the school. I believe the county might have actually suggested or will be moving forward on a slight decrease as well. If you look at just total property taxes and the general fund dollars and that table.
What page do you want?
Page 7.
Thanks.
It looks like our property tax here has ADHD.
That's the 2-year holdover, right?
Well, so it's,
Valuation holdover?
yes. So
every other year it goes negative.
Yes, every other year we're negative and then we're positive and then we're
Yeah.
back to negative again. So it's an extremely challenging dynamic when you're trying to program, projections over a 3 to 5 year period for you. So I always leave this in here just so that people can see just how intriguing it is to budget year in, year out. So it looks like we increased our general fund levy by just under $200,000 from last year, which technically we did, but if you look at like a 3 or 4 year average, then we are kind of keeping up with cost of living expense to a certain extent. Total overall budget, it always seems so inflated because we have carryover, but
Now you're on page 16.
page 15, it looks like we're spending $19 million. We will not spend $19 million next fiscal year, but we have to account for all of the projects that are or have been discussed as part of the CIP. One of those being, phase 2 of sanitary sewer plant upgrades. It's likely $4.5 to $5 million. If I start that, I have to account for those dollars in the budget. We don't, or have not accounted for any revenues, because we haven't borrowed anything for that. So there's differences between what our expected expenses are going to be versus what our revenues are going to be. On page 17, that is not a typo. That information was last reported from the league in 2015. It's only for comparison purposes between that and slide 18. Just to give you an idea of what average cities our size spend their money on versus where our monies are set. And then page 19 gives a good idea of where we rank as it relates to the state of Iowa, the rest of the state of Iowa. We rank 184th out of the 942 cities. So for a heavily residential community, we don't get a lot of commercial and industrial property tax. Being at 184th is pretty solid. And if you look at what our levy rate is compared to some of our counterparts, the city's levy rate is actually pretty average. By comparison, the community that has the highest levy rate in the state of Iowa is Cape Cook. Their total levy rate is $54.16 compared to ours, which is $38.53. So there's a vast difference from number 1 all the way down to 184. So the rest of it is just kind of statistical data. I do touch on the debt. By 2029, 4 of the 8 notes that we have outstanding will be actually paid off. So we buy down debt typically between 1.4 and 1.55 million per year. So we're pretty aggressive with it.
You thought we're going to have to borrow $2 million for the Highway 1 project?
Would be the expectation. So some of the large projects that I can tell you that are hanging out there right now. So the phase 2 of the sewer plant,
which is 48.8% of this budget.
Yeah.
The good news is it won't be there next year. The bad news is, the other news is something will replace it.
Right? So those would be likely sewer revenue related bonds, so they won't necessarily go against our overall debt capacity. But we have the $2 million for Highway 1. We have a very debatable $4.5 million for the Uptown Streetscape. Somebody thinks my numbers are way off. It should be higher. I'm using the engineer's numbers, but by the time we get started, she already believes that it'll be higher than that. But so we do have some large projects that are hanging out there that we'll have to borrow for. I think the biggest question mark, depending on what property tax legislation does, is how we pay for it. As I alluded to in my email to Representative Golding that I shared with the council, our debt service levy is 0. We don't have a single penny of property tax that goes towards our debt service right now because we use other funds to pay for that. The more they pressure or put downward pressure on our general fund, the more those dollars will have to move to other locations, and debt service will come back to the debt service levy. So I don't have a prediction for you because I just don't know what the property tax is going to look like quite yet, but as I informed Representative Golding, even if I took 40 to 50% of our current debt payments annually and put that into the debt service levy, that would be $1.82 per thousand a just a little bit. So, there's where, like I said, when I talked about trying to figure out how to balance this budget without doing major increases, that will be the number one effect of the downward pressure that they put on the general fund. Or you cut services. And the challenge for Mount Vernon, what services do you cut? We don't offer a significant amount of services outside of, I think, what residents come to expect, and that's plowing the streets, patrolling the streets, as the fire department alluded to, making sure everybody's safe. Ambulance, we pay very little, not very little. We pay little for library services compared to other communities our size with our relationship with Cornell. So, we've cut seasonal help this year.
Southeast Lynn.
Southeast Lynn, we did not. We gave them a $1,000 increase versus what they were hoping for.
Thanks, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but those are the types of programs that will be at the forefront of cuts, if need be, only because, again, we don't have a lot of places to cut. So with that, I won't answer any questions. It's like 4 months of work and like 10 minutes worth of coffee.
Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Last meeting's public hearing, there was one person that expressed concern about that and about raising the city tax levy, and we are not raising our levy. And though with rollback, she may end up paying more. But what we can impact, I think we stand our history in the last 28 years or whatever with how long we stayed at $12.99, and now we're at $13.50. That's decades in that area. So. Anyone else here to speak?
Thanks for the upgrades in the report. Always very helpful.
Good request.
Appreciate it.
Because you're sitting in the audience too, I just wanted to pass along, since it's a CIP project and we brought up Highway 1, we did pass that information on in the quiet zone on Highway 1 to the DOT. Make no guarantees, but it's in front of them now. Yeah, so cross your fingers and see what happens. Thanks.
Your sleep is important to us.
Yeah.
Quality of life.
Indeed.
Any other comments? Can I officially close the public meeting at whatever time this is, 7:12? Need to vote on that? Okay, then moving on to the next agenda item, G2. Resolution 420-2026A, approving the City of Mount Vernon fiscal year 2026-27 annual budget.
Move approval of resolution 4-20-2026A.
Paul?
I'll second it.
Shereen, moved seconded to pass 4-20-2026 resolution forward. As a roll call vote, if you are ready, Marcia.
Kelley,
Yes.
Hanson Player,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Moving on, that resolution passes. Going back to E3, public hearing for consideration of budget amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 25-26 budget. We'll officially open that public meeting. Is there anyone here to speak to that topic at this time? Jason, you're monitoring Zoom? Okay, okay. Because I'm not always checking that, so thank you. Hearing none for no comments for that public hearing. Officially close the public hearing and move on to G3, resolution 4-20-2026B, approving the budget amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 25-2026 budget. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Paul?
Second.
Josh? Moving seconded to move forward with resolution 4-20-2026D. And again, Marcia, you're ready.
Kelley,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Hanson Player,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Thank you, and that resolution passes. We're now to F1.
Two?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
F1, yeah.
I crossed off the wrong one.
Yeah, that's G1 was the first one, yeah, sorry. Ordinance 3/16/2026A. I'm not going to read all the word verbiage there, but
Why not?
we are going to the third final reading. I'm not sure anything else has changed since then, since our last met with other meetings, but any questions of staff, any comments, any other observations from citizens? And then,
I would move approval of ordinance 3-16-2026A, adopting phase 4 of TIF for the Springville Heights.
So second?
Scott Craig, moved and seconded for the third and final reading. And that is also a roll call vote, if Marcia's ready.
Engel,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
Hanson Flare,
Yes.
That ordinance does pass. Next is ordinance 4/6/2026A, amending chapter 166.03 of the jurisdiction applicability of the 2-mile extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city of Mount Vernon, Iowa. And we are again at the third reading.
The second reading for this
Oh,
one.
I'm sorry, second reading, I'm sorry, second reading. Questions of staff? Or nothing, anything changed? Any comments to City Hall, anything like that?
No, I would move approval of 4-6-2026A, amending chapter, approving the second reading and proceeding on to the third reading.
Thank you, Craig. Second Paul, I think I heard. Moving seconded to move forward 4/6/2026A, and that is a roll call vote as well. Marcia?
Rose,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Hanson Flare,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
That ordinance passes. Moving on to motions for approval. J1 is consideration of claims list that we received this afternoon from Marcia. The most recent one. Any questions, anything to pull off? Good with it? Anything to explain?
I would move approval of the claims list as presented.
Thank you, Scott. And second? Thank you, Paul. Moving second to move forward the claims list, and that is a voice vote. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. It's the time of the year when we discuss, consider proposal for our audit services. Again, going with Roelle, Bell, Kind and Company. Anything to add to your comments, Chris?
And I would move approval of hiring Roelle, Bell, Kuhn and Company to conduct our annual audit at $16,580.
Thank you, Craig.
Second, I do have a quick, just purely out of curiosity question. The last name Veenstra is not all that common. Is there a relation between the guy that signed this and D&K? Do you know, Phil? Just curious.
I don't believe so.
I saw that too.
Yeah, just, you know, it's not Jones, so I figured it's a small area.
They're located in Atlantic, which is
Fair enough.
quite
Yeah, so Bob Meester that started B&K out of Des Moines,
Okay.
and these guys are out of Atlantic, so, I mean, there could be, I guess, but not that I'm aware of.
Okay, just curious.
Okay. Motion, any other questions? Any,
Actually, I do.
Okay.
Is there a reason why we go with an accounting firm that's so far away from us?
So we, first and foremost, there's a fairly limited number of accounting firms that do government accounting. Groenewald came in 4 years ago, 5 years ago. They just came in with significantly better prices. So typically what will happen is they're in their third year of what, we never do a 3-year agreement with them. They try to get us to do a 3-year agreement all the time, but the previous auditing firm, it's like engineering service, they start to creep up and then you go ahead and go back to an RFP, RFQ. The one thing I would say about these particular auditors is they seem very organized from a staff perspective. So it's a chaotic week where they come in, and not necessarily as me, but for the two sitting to my left, they ask for a lot of paperwork and so there's a certain level of comfort that's there, but they're still cheaper than what I think the last year of our contract with our previous auditors were right now. They'll turn around and they'll propose again, and if it seems like it's significantly higher, then we can go, after this year, we could go back out to RFP, RFQ if we wanted to. But yeah, it really comes down to keying in on government and county.
Okay, that's good to know. I was just surprised when I was reading through things that we're reaching out to Atlantic, Iowa, so.
Yeah, our previous Clifton, Allen, Mars.
Right, CLA.
CLA.
Larson Allen.
Used to be Clifton Larson, and so once they were bought out, they were like actually headquartered out of Minneapolis, although they had offices in Iowa at that point. But
Good ones, yeah.
yeah.
All right, thank you for that
You're welcome.
explanation.
I would add, dealing with exit interviews with auditors and a variety of industries, that they are, they don't sugarcoat anything, they're concise, they recommend an action plan, and we act on it, so that consideration was good. It's been a motion on the floor to approve, renewal, et cetera, for audit services, and for ready to vote on that. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, discussion consideration of Bradley Hogg, CPA proposal for accounting services, preparation of audits.
So Bradley actually used to audit, be on the audit team for the city before he kind of broke away and did his own CPA thing. But I cannot express to you how valuable his services are for what we actually paid him. So just having an outside look on monthly reconciliation goes a long way when we do get to the audit alone, to have our own kind of CPA outside of City Hall. So he really, like I said, it's a $185 increase.
It's like 2% or
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
5%.
The biggest no-brainer on the agenda tonight, I would say.
And he's been in this role for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. I've been here for 10 years,
26
and he
years.
was here for a long time before that.
Yeah,
So.
hopefully he'll keep working
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably considering other options.
He likes engaging with Mount Vernon. I met him at the last year's Fireman's Pancake Breakfast. I had a great discussion with him. Good. It was good.
With that, I would move approval of the contracting for the accounting services with Bradley Hogg for the $7,935.
I'll second.
Thank you, Scott and Shereen. Moving second to move forward with Bradley Hogg for the auditing accounting services preparation. And ready to vote on that. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Next is discussion consideration of change order number 3 on 2025 sidewalk improvements project. Council action is needed.
They're doing work on the bike trail that goes from the skate park all the way up to 7th. Rebar isn't part of the sidewalk component, so when they're replacing panels, we obviously don't have them put any rebar in it. So this was kind of an oversight on our part because we do want it in the bike trail. We carry heavier traffic, including our vehicles through there.
And there is, Alliant has an easement through there as well, and they've taken some pretty large trucks through there and broke things up before, so I think that was kind of my recommendation to Lee to throw that in there for maintenance purposes. Alliant won't pay us for it, so.
Yeah. I would move to approve change order number 3, 2025 sidewalk improvement at the amount of $10,300.
Second?
Second.
Move second to forward change order number 3. Thanks to Lee for keeping me apprised when I get asked by citizens where they're at in the process. And I think the last answer was the process in, by the skate park. But then starting back in southeast quadrant, yeah, and then starting the process again. And the last I heard was that hopefully a completion date this summer.
By June.
By June, okay, so that will be good. Motion on the floor to consider the change order number 3. If you're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion, consideration of the site plan approval for the parking lot reconstruction of the Malvern Community School District. Council action as needed.
This is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Brad might have been the biggest no-brainer, but this has been something I've dreamed about for 10 years. So,
I didn't realize that was a street that went through there. I thought it was all a parking lot.
well, it's not technically a street, so we stop right at the softball diamond. The name continues through there. The superintendent was hoping that it would be a street because he's like, how much are you going to put into this? Right. But we own up to 10 at the four-way stop on the west side, and then basically to the softball diamond on the east side. The rest of it is the school districts, but this will alleviate the gates being closed, and
So the gates will stay open all day long?
there won't be gates moving forward. Yes.
How many times I have had to turn. Not so much now that I don't have kids in school.
But if you'll notice on what would be the east side of that parking lot, they're constructing what would be a bus lane. It's a dedicated bus lane. So really excited for this.
Is this part of a bigger effort to help in some way alleviate some of the traffic over there?
So this is the first step. I put both Cornell and the school district on notice after the athletic complex was constructed that there wouldn't be any additions that would get approved without the parking issue figured out. So kudos to the school district and to the superintendent for getting this far. And like I said, this will alleviate a lot. The traffic study that the city sponsored on behalf of the school district, I think Shai Hattery did an excellent job with that. You know, there's a lot of good recommendations, some that I wasn't super crazy about, but I think moving forward, this is a really good step forward.
So we're just approving the plan,
Correct.
no cost at this point.
No.
And just, we don't get all that many plans that come before us. Why is...
Commercial and industrial.
Okay.
Anything that would be considered commercial and industrial.
Okay. That makes more sense. Because my initial thought was that it was because it was a street, but then when you said, no, it's not actually, then I'm thinking, well, what do we... Okay.
Yeah, by ordinance, it's commercial and industrial site plans are coming.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Okay. Question for Lee, going through planning and zoning, any issues at that level?
No.
Sales are okay? So,
Everybody's lived with the condition of that area for long enough to
Right,
say,
yeah.
let's deal with it.
Let's get it done.
how about comparison of parking spots? Does that change any? I could not find it.
9 less, I think.
Pardon?
Yes.
9 less.
9 less, you've done the math right, thank you. I've been asked that.
School board meeting.
Yeah, but when people park there, it's so willy-nilly that I think it looks like there's going to be a whole lot more parking places because it's just so crazy the way people just like throw their cars there. And so, yes, technically 9 less, but it looks so much more organized than what it ends up being. I like the organization of it. I think we have been so lucky that we haven't had children being hit in there because I haven't had any children in the district since my last graduate in 23, but the times when I had kids in the middle school and elementary driving through there, I'm surprised there weren't children being hit because it was just chaos in there.
Is that motion?
I would move approval of the state plan as presented for the reconstruction of Mount Vernon Community School District parking lot.
On second.
That's true. Moving second to move forward with the parking lot reconstruction for the Vernon Community School District Middle School. If there are other comments, we're going to vote on that. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
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 And opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, discussion consideration change order number 3 on the Uptown Street Light Project.
So again, we lopped off number 7, which was analogous to number 6. Is that correct?
Number 6 is a
Change order?
6 is the actual change order, and then
Okay,
7 was
thank
going
you.
to be the pay application, but it will be part of a different pay application.
Thank you.
So still act on J6.
and I would
Correct.
move approval of change order number 3 on the Uptown Street Light Project.
Thank you, Paul. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Paul Scott, moving second to move forward change order number 3 on the Uptown Street Light Project.
But I have some questions. So
Yeah.
didn't we already put in some outlets on these in the fall?
So they have outlets, or they had outlets. The unfortunate part about the outlets that were put in, they were not put in with the ground fault.
Were they supposed to have been put in?
No, they were not planned that way. The outlets themselves were actually at the request of the city, not Alliant or the design team.
And were they at the top of the lights?
Yes.
And I think what you're remembering, because I had the same moment of wait, was the discussion about actually doing this. This is the change order to just justify the dollar amount. So we've already,
Okay.
yes, you're not going crazy. We have already talked about moving the, adding the GFCI.
Yeah, I apologize. We brought that to you not as a motion before, but just as kind of a heads up, hey, we had the first festival, realized that this was going to be problematic, said it's probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood. This is the formal action to that request.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we're not adding even more outlets to this.
No.
Full screen. Yeah. I had that same moment.
Okay. So in the future, if we were to do a do-over on these poles, we should have just planned them better.
Yes. We didn't realize that they would, I guess we didn't think about the fact that we would have to climb a ladder to reset them if they would trip. So yes, planning wise, when we put them in there.
So a few things on those. Yes, if we had to, for instance, the Christmas decorations, garland, anything that we would have put on that, if it would have tripped the GFI at the top of the pole, we would have to go out there to reset that and get the bucket truck to do so. It was also hooked to the same circuit as the street light, so if it tripped, the street light would go out as well. So we're trying to avoid that, but then also the convenience of having that GFI on the bottom part of the pole, it's just an easy reset. And with the redo, we actually saved some money because we were going to do the GFI's breakers in the box, which would make us then come back to City Hall to trip it instead of being right at the pole. So, so yeah, it's more convenient, and actually the whole project, we save some money by eliminating the GFI breakers.
Alliance Defense was the first installed in the state of Iowa, so I'm Darrell from it. Oh, and second one, never.
And now we're helping every other town does these things. By the way, make sure you do it this way. Okay.
So moved, seconded, if we're ready to vote on
Yes.
change order number 3, if that covers all the questions. If we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Are we skipping number 7? Number 8, discussion consideration of ventilation system installation, the Branch Road Public Workshop. Slowly getting there. Alvin?
So this quote is for $24,550. This is for basically a ventilation system for fumes, carbon monoxide, all of those things. So it has sensors, it will trip, it will clear the air in the shop where they're working in a matter of, I'll say minutes, but most likely seconds. it's a piece of safety equipment, so there's really not a lot of, I would consider, debate on this, now that we're moving all of our operations to Bryant Road.
Well, the ability to get our equipment through doors, which we haven't had really ever since we've had the equipment that we've had, so.
No,
Yeah.
like I said, if you get out there, and I just put pictures in there, but just all the work that the public works crew has done themselves, on their break room and stuff like that, is incredible.
Well, I would move approval of the ventilation system for the public works facility in the, for the quote of $24,550.
Second. Craig, moving second to move forward with the Bryant Road ventilation system update. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Reports, beginning with Vernon-Lisbon Police Report. Congratulations on getting closer to being fully staffed.
We're getting there. We also have a K-9 back on duty, so he's already been utilized a few times. So yeah, we're getting there.
Thanks for the update about who's coming, who's going to Camp Dodge, who's coming back from Camp Dodge, and medical leave, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, and Nick comes back next week, or at the end of this Friday he graduates. So yeah. Get my car.
any questions?
I didn't talk to you about that.
Oh. Okay. Moving to public works report. I thought Chris was going to give you a pass on this.
He did.
You did? Okay. Did you ever do anything?
He did.
Okay.
I did, don't know, listen to me.
I have one question. Walking the site this weekend, concrete bunkers that are still out at the old site, are they coming up here like off the walk day? Are they ours? The concrete?
The blocks, the concrete block?
Yeah.
It was part of the agreement to leave 2 bunkers there for the
Okay.
gas site, so.
That's fine. I just didn't know if they were moved downtown for the next festival or.
We got plenty out at the new site.
Okay, well, I know that. But, okay. But those are staying, yeah. I think it was pretty well cleaned out. They had locks on some doors, but they didn't have them connected, so I just moved through everything. So, yeah, cleaned it out pretty well. You got a lot of stuff to move out there. You have a lot of stuff to move. Mr. Siders, Parks and Rec report. Any other questions of Ellen, since he doesn't have a report?
I didn't have any pictures, but just because I was kind of pushed for time. But I was going to take some pictures and try to throw it in there today, but I did want to let you know I had some Teresa USA signs, like new ones that hadn't been put up. So I replaced those on the 2 signs on east and west end of town, and I put our new stickers on. So thought you'd like that.
So you got that whole box of materials?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Were you able to use everything? Did you get the trees I brought up on Friday?
I did. Yep.
Okay, they got to you. I didn't know.
Yep. And Ted was gone today, but I know he's got some spots.
Okay.
He's already got picked out for some trees. So.
Not sure what you want us to do with the flag because it's very large.
If it doesn't fit in what we can display, it's not.
We can always put it up at some point for the festival if we'd like, just hang it up.
But this was a kit of supplies that I received like a week ago, and I think we're at year 23 or 27 consecutively being with the Arbor Foundation, Tree City USA.
22.
22, that's the right number? Okay, thank you. But with that comes some recognition. So thanks for updating those and getting them out and getting the trees planted too that get donated as part of that package. Now, Mr. Siders, Parks and Rec report.
Nothing to add.
It's spinning up for summer, here we go.
The field been given off. It's Elliott Fields. Where were you going to skim the infield at the Elliott Field?
We did. Field E, yeah.
That didn't happen?
That didn't happen. It's done.
Okay.
Yep. Chop the walk coming up. Don't forget.
Two weekends. You still looking for volunteers?
Yes.
Emphatic yes.
Anybody in this audience would like to volunteer, we would love to have you.
And the city cleanup is tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
I don't know what day it is.
Sign up.
Today's felt like 2 days to me, so.
Anything else about Parks and Rec report? For Matt? Thank you, and good luck getting into your busy season. And I know Katie's getting staffing up for the pool. And I did not see the slide there yet, but hopefully it's on a truck.
It's out there, it's delivered.
Is it
The
delivered?
new slide's sitting up there, yeah.
It is?
It's not up yet.
Okay, I know it's not.
The old one's taken down, the new one's sitting below it.
Okay,
We're sitting
I
there.
missed that.
When they bring?
I don't know, I saw it last Friday when I went out there and talked to him.
Coal library report, anything, any questions of Grace there? Pass on.
You did? Oh, thank you.
We're into the fire report, for discussion items. March reconciliation report. Chris, do you want to address anything there in particular, or any questions?
Okay, exciting. Which is how you like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Mayor's report, I was going to list about 4 or 5 things here. First of all, I did, with the transition of leadership in the ECOG chairmanship spot, I did reach out to Ellen Abel, I think I got it right, and met her. She's coming from Coralville, where she was the deputy city administrator there. I think I got that right. Chris knows her. But good opportunity to catch up with her with no agenda other than just to meet her, and she wants to get to know municipalities in the area, so met her. The second thing was reminding about April 30th Leaders Breakfast at 7:30. You did have that already in your calendar. Cleanup day was already mentioned. I did a coffee with the mayor on Saturday at the Hilltop Plants and Records and so on, and had 4 people show up, but it was a robust conversation for an hour and 20 minutes. It was a good conversation. They had some agenda. I had a flip chart with items to talk about, and I'm not sure we exhausted everything, but after an hour and 20, we were done. So, so it was a good opportunity there, and I then was requested to do it more often and have it available, so that was a good experience there. And I think that is, oh, and I think everybody signed up for Jesse's tour with Main Street, Iowa on 4/29, or at least they got an invitation about attending that. Does that sound right? On noonish on...
Like 10:30 to 11:30, something
Okay,
like
thanks for the correct time.
but yeah.
On the 29th. That's all I have as far as mayor's reports. Anything for council reports? Committee reports? City administrator reports? Any questions of Chris's?
I should have a brain down for the next month and a half.
I was like, you two can rest.
But it's done. Any comments or questions of council? Anything else that we need to address? Otherwise, I will call us adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
I literally wrote no way.